What do you think of Trump's Iran strikes so far?
I'm totally against it.
Would you call it an illegal war? Because some people are calling it that because he doesn't have congressional approval.
Yeah, I think it's probably a legal war.
Some people are calling this an illegal war. Would you agree that it's illegal?
I would say, yeah. I'd say it was a bit of a breach in power by the president, for sure.
A lot of people are saying that it's an illegal war because he didn't get congressional approval.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
I 100% agree with that.
So this was the Trump administration's justification, very short and vague. I just want to get your reaction to it. The president had the constitutional authority to direct the use of military force on Iran because he could reasonably determine that such use of force was in the national interest. Is that convincing to you?
No, not even the slightest. No, it's ridiculous.
What if I told you this was actually the Obama administration's justification for bombing Libya for 7 months?
Is this like the point is you're trying to find people to get into...
Well, we're just trying to see if people are consistent with their criticism of Trump and then the Obama administration before him doing effectively the same thing. Hey guys, this is Matt Miller with Politbrawl. Over the weekend, Bill Maher completely caught Adam Schiff off guard when he asked him to respond to President Trump's justification for attacking Iran. Turns out it was actually Obama's justification for bombing Libya for 7 months without congressional approval.
This statement from the administration: the president had the constitutional authority to direct the use of military force because he could reasonably determine that such use of force was in the national interest. That's too vague for you?
Totally vague.
Okay, because that's from Obama about Libya.
Well,
We're going to ask people here in Washington, D.C. the same question. Respond to President Trump's justification for attacking Iran. Oops, no, it's actually Obama's justification for attacking Libya. Let's see if they have any consistency on this issue at all or if they're just Trump deranged. What do you think of Trump's Iran strikes so far?
I'm totally against it
Why are you against him?
because I don't think he had any foresight in what he was doing. He anticipated the repercussions and what's going to happen. Unless something happens soon, it could lead to, I think it could lead to a world war.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Would you call it an illegal war? Because some people are calling it that because he doesn't have congressional approval.
Well, it's certainly extrajudicial. Yeah, I think it's probably a legal war.
It was a completely made-up crisis that Trump did, and it's tanked the economy, tanked oil prices, and it was completely ill thought out. There was no exit strategy at all, and Hegseth is like a teenage boy.
Well, a lot of people are saying that it's an illegal war because he didn't get congressional approval.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
I 100% agree with that.
I work in a Democratic office. I agree that Iran does pose a threat if they do get a nuclear weapon, but I just think the method in which they went about the strikes is a bit impulsive.
Okay.
I do think something needs to be done, but in a different way, potentially.
Do you think he should seek congressional approval?
Yes, I do, 100%.
And some people are calling this an illegal war. Would you agree that it's illegal?
I would say, yeah. I'd say it was a bit of a breach in power by the president, for sure.
Do you think he should seek congressional approval, and is it illegal if he doesn't?
100%. Past wars, we did, it was expected to seek congressional approval.
Do you think that he should seek congressional approval? Would you say that there...
Of course, he should have done it from the beginning.
Some are calling this an illegal war. Would you agree with that? Do you think it's illegal?
I do believe in our Constitution it says that he needs to ask Congress for permission.
So this was the Trump administration's justification, very short and vague. I just want to get your reaction to it. The president had the constitutional authority to direct the use of military force on Iran because he could reasonably determine that such use of force was in the national interest. Is that convincing to you?
No, not even the slightest. No, it's ridiculous. And it was completely like Bibi Netanyahu's dream to do it, and we just, fell into line, to say nothing of whatever the Russians have on Trump. So
absolutely. What if I told you this was actually the Obama administration's justification for bombing Libya for 7 months?
Oh, well.
Was that an illegal war too, you think?
Probably. I mean, without congressional justification, I think, Congress has been completely neutered, so, yeah.
You think Obama was guilty of the same infractions that Trump's committing now?
I'd have to go back.
Trump is shouting about ICE and deportations.
We took out over 2,000 hardcore criminals.
But what about the people that he's deporting here, to the UK?
I was arrested, detained, and deported.
I was an illegal immigrant in the United States.
Taken to London Heathrow Airport.
I had minimal family. I have no one. I've never been here. I was just born here.
I should have been deported.
It's going to be a mass load of people coming.
As a society, are we ready for that? I don't think we are.
Since taking office, President Trump has deported hundreds of thousands of people. What you may not realize is that some of those people are British and have been deported back to the UK. We've been analysing data from ICE, obtained by a research group called the Deportation Data Project, and we can now reveal that 212 people were deported from the US to the UK between Trump's inauguration in January last year and October the 15th. That's roughly double the number under Biden. This is one of those people.
Yes, I got deported after 20 plus years and 97+% of my life in the United States.
We're on our way to Manchester now to meet him. This guy was deported last year. Interestingly, I think he is still a Trump supporter. Hi, I'm Patrick.
In the summer or early autumn of last year, I was arrested, detained, and deported by Immigrations and Customs Enforcement in Chicago. I was actually on the way to the airport heading to a friend's wedding. I'd just gotten in an Uber on the way to the airport from my apartment. They had a specific warrant for me. I wasn't picked up in a raid. They came looking for me. They knew my work schedule. They'd been monitoring me. This one I took as I was in ICE custody. And then those are actually these pants right here. From there, I was taken to a county jail where I was detained in a cell with maybe 40 other detainees. I was there for 3 weeks. Then I was loaded onto an American Airlines flight and taken to London Heathrow Airport, at which point I was released.
Ted, who's asked us to change his name, is a British national, but his parents took him to live in the US as a child without proper documentation.
So my first removal order was when I was 12 years old, 2013.
He believes that a drunk driving conviction in 2022 put him higher on ICE's list. So this is the warrant for your deportation. Yes. Despite his deportation, he does still support Trump's immigration policies.
Unlawful presence after learning that I was unlawfully present, right? I'm not making excuses. I should have been deported. There is an illegal immigration crisis in America, and any president who wants a lawfully ordered nation has the right and the duty and the obligation to enforce deportation. And yet with what just happened in Minnesota, you saw these leftist agitators that were impeding law enforcement. They were obstructing the enforcement of the law in attempts to detain and deport illegal immigrants, especially criminal illegal immigrants. And what Trump did is he pulled the Department of Homeland Security out of Minnesota. I think, if anything, if he were being consistent with his policies, he should have brought in the National Guard and doubled down.
I was curious to understand Ted's frame of mind in the video he recorded when he first arrived in the UK.
You see that outside of London, all of England is a third world country.
And his apparent dislike of his new home.
A dump.
I guess I stand by what I said in that video. I think I could have said it much more charitably in a less insulting or offensive manner. But those were my honest reactions when I got here. The demographics of England are a lot different than I was expecting. Just the concentration of ethnic minorities. As soon as I stepped off the train, as soon as I walked into the station, it appeared that the minorities were majority, and the ethnic English were in the minority, at least in the train station. That was my first observation.
How do you sort of square or reconcile the fact that you are the product of migration, your parents not from England, with your views about England should be for English people?
I would make a distinction between the individual immigrant and immigration policy as a whole. I think it's not only counterproductive, but it's really just inconsiderate, rude to go to any individual immigrant and say, you don't belong here, versus the policy which allows masses to change the demographics of an existing place.
Ted's story isn't the obvious story of deportation. He's got complex views about the whole subject. He sees his position as being, as an individual who suffered from deportation, yet at the same time he's got sympathy for the policy of restricting migration. Ted says that his only criminal activity is one incident of drink driving. Around half of the people deported from the US to the UK have no criminal charges or convictions, but others are British nationals who commit crimes in the US and are deported at the end of their prison sentence. Oluwa, who also goes by Joe, is one of those people. Like Ted, he was born in England, but was brought to the US as a child. His family stayed there illegally. He was deported last year after serving 19 years in prison.
I was incarcerated for a violent crime. I was young. I don't make excuses for back then, but I lived the wrong lifestyle. I was an addict. I would smoke weed. I used drugs. I was very inhuman. When I was incarcerated, ICE came to see me, said, "We're going to deport you. We'll investigate who you are," because I was an illegal immigrant in the United States. I don't have no family in the UK. I have minimal family. I have no one. I've never been here. I was just born here.
Joe says that the lack of support for deportees like himself puts him and others in danger.
I just did 19 years in prison, no family, no money. I had 20, 30 pounds. I've been violent my whole life. What do you expect someone to do when their back is against the wall and they're starving and they're suffering and their mental health is not together and they're sleeping in the cold outside? Someone who's vulnerable, who's susceptible to drugs is flooded. It's flooded with bad. When you drop someone like me off of 19 years in that environment, what do you expect?
Joe says that without the support of a charity called Prisoners Abroad, he would have taken his own life. One of the things they do is try and pick people up when they've just arrived, physically, spiritually pick them up and care for them for the first few weeks of their lives in Britain.
Yeah, so this is where people arrive. This will be the first time we meet somebody, bearing in mind that people come back often with nothing, and they are surviving in places that we've maybe put them up for a short period. So we'll have a whole range of different things, toiletries, essentials, clothing that people may need. It's often a surprise to people that when people come back from a prison sentence overseas, that there's no probation support to people. They finish their sentence, so they literally arrive at Heathrow to nothing. But I think it's fair to say that anybody that understands successful resettlement, it is more likely that people will commit further offences if you don't support them through that process. The number of people deported from the US back to the UK has increased quite a bit this year. We think, and from what we see, the increase in the last year or so is the beginnings, and it only feels like the beginning of the impact of what is going on in America in the number of people that are being picked up and put into immigration detention.
Are we, as a society, as a state, as local authorities, ready for that impact?
I don't think...
Are you taking a picture of me?
Because I can?
Well, what do you mean you can?
He's a paedophile. He's groping young girls, celebrating the GCSE results in the garden just over there. This guy here.
Don't come back.
Made it to, is this the High Street?
This is Market Street.
Market Street.